Hi and welcome to the Elementor Free Basics Webinar. My name is Ziv and I'm a web designer and lead educator here at Elementor. I'd just like to say sorry for the technical hiccup last week. Some of you waited in anticipation for over half an hour, which is real dedication. So I'm going to make it up to you during this webinar. And as an extra bonus, you're the first Elementors to see my new t-shirt. So that worked out nicely. Okay, so let's make a start. First of all, I'm very excited to introduce you to the internet's leading WordPress drag and drop site builder, Elementor. And this webinar is going to give you a basic breakdown of Elementor and show you how to use it to design, build, and publish your own landing pages, just like the one that we're going to be building together today. So I'll just go ahead and share my screen so you can see the landing page. There we go. Okay, so this is the landing page that we're going to be building, and we'll go over it soon. First of all, a landing page is a page on your site that visitors arrive on via some kind of advertising. It could be a Facebook ad or a Google search or a link in an email. So they land on the page, and the page is designed with a specific purpose to convert visitors into leads by taking a specific action. So it's a call to action like a button over here, as you can see in the hero section. And in our example, there's an art gallery called Merino, and there's a special winter discount. So the purpose of the page is to convince visitors to contact the art gallery and inquire about prices. So as you can see in the first section, there's a painting over here. There's a title with a percentage discount. When they click the button, see the works, they scroll down automatically to the second section where they can see some of the paintings and artworks with the sales price. They can click the button here, inquire now. If they click it on their phone, it will automatically open up the phone app. And in the browser, you can also call. And when you scroll down, there's the Contact Us section with a video playing in the background and some social icons over here. So there's a lot of call to actions over here for the landing page. And Elementor is the perfect tool to help you create landing pages. What it is, it's an advanced page builder that allows you to build entire websites page by page with your own custom design. It's a drag and drop builder, meaning that you work directly on your page and you see the result in real time, exactly the way that your website visitors would see it as well. There are many advantages with using Elementor, such as saving time and development costs, because with Elementor you can design and implement the design without knowing code. Without using code, and it also gives you full design options for page layouts, a huge selection of widgets to use, ranging from basic, such as text, just like you see over here, image, a button widget, image carousel widgets, which we're going to be using today. And there are also pro widgets, if you're a pro user, such as a call to action, countdown, form widgets, and a lot more. Okay, so I'll stop blabbering around over here, and feel free to ask questions in the chat. We'll try to answer them, and we'll see exactly. I can answer some questions during the webinar as well. Okay, so to start working with Elementor, first we need to create our first page. Okay, so let's go to the WordPress dashboard over here, like so. And here in Pages, we'll just click Add New. And just give the page a name. Merino Art Gallery landing page, and I'll press Edit with Elementor. Okay, so to start with a clean page, what we're going to be doing is we're going to go to the page settings. On the bottom, in the panel on the left, we'll just press over here, and we'll just set this to Elementor Canvas. Okay, so this is the easiest way to create a full blank page without a header and a footer, which is exactly what we need for our landing page. Okay, great. So let's just get familiar with the Elementor interface. Okay, so on the right side over here, we've got the editing area. This is the editing part of the page. We're going to be adding and editing all the elements that form the layout of the page. And on the left side over here, this is the Elementor panel. If we press over here on the widgets icon, we have the creative tools called widgets. You use them to add elements to your page, like headings, paragraphs, images, and videos. You can always access this area by clicking on the widgets icon. And if we go over to the left over here, we have the hamburger menu. It also has more options like setting default colors and fonts, as you can see over here. I'll just press default fonts so you can see. I've gone ahead and already set them to Montserrat, as you can see. And soon you'll see exactly how this helps speed up my designing process. So we'll get back to that. And over here, you can also go, for example, view the page. You can also exit back to your dashboard if you want to do that. And let's move down over here on the bottom. We've got another panel with more features. The page settings we already saw, where we can change the name of the page. Here we've got other layout options, but we're going with Canvas. Next to it, we've got the navigator, which basically helps you to get a clear and organized view of your page. Currently, it's empty because we haven't built anything yet, so we're going to get back to this one and check it out to see exactly how it helps organize when we're designing. So I'll go ahead and close it. Over here, we've got the history to view recent changes, and we can go back to them as well. We've got revisions, so that's quite comes in handy. And over here's the responsive menu where we can make we can switch between screen modes and make responsive edits, which we'll do as well for mobile and tablet. Go back to desktop. Next to it, we can go preview the page, and we can publish and update the page. And there are other save options as well, which I'll show you soon as well. Okay. So let's just have a closer look at how pages are built. There are two ways you can start. First of all, what I'll do is I'll go to the library over here. I'll click this file icon and I'll enter the library. And this is where we can preview Elementor's pre-made blocks and pages, the template kits, as well as our own templates. So as you can see here, we've got a page which we can preview and we can insert it. I'll just go back. Here we've got some blocks as well that we can use and that we can preview. So I'll just go ahead and insert, let's have a look. This one, the join over 1 million people. I'll go ahead and preview it and insert it. So you can exactly see what it looks like. Okay, cool. So we just inserted the block. Let's just have a look at what it's made out of, okay? So first of all, Elementor uses 3 main building blocks, which are sections, columns, and widgets. Over here, sections, you can see over here that they're the largest building blocks. They can be identified by their blue border, okay? And inside them are columns, and you can identify them by their black dashed border, like over here. And inside them are the widgets. We've got the heading widget, we've got a button widget, and they're inside the column. And you can control the section, the column, and the widgets with their handle. Okay, so to do that, you can just right-click. You can do a lot of things. You can duplicate. You can delete. I'll go ahead and duplicate the column. So now we've got 2 columns with the same content in it. And another cool thing that we can do is we can just drag around widgets, columns, and sections as well. We can just simply drag them, and the blue line indicates where it's going to be positioned. So we just move that over there. We can also move it to a different column, like so. We can also switch the columns around by dragging them over like so. We can also resize the column by dragging them. Okay, so there's a lot of things that we can do. Okay, so sections, columns, and widgets, they've got 3 tabs in the panel on the left. I'll just click sections over here. The sections, they have sections and columns have a layout, style, and advanced tab. And widgets, they have the content, style, and advanced tab. And soon we'll see exactly how these settings are used to create our landing page. But first, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and delete the section, because what we're going to be doing is we're going to be building our landing page from scratch. Okay, so another way to start building is by adding sections. So what you can do is you can just press the plus over here, and you can simply choose one of these preset structures, and you can tweak it along. You can tweak it on the go. So as you can see, we've got a section with 1 column, with 2 equal columns, with 4 equal columns, with 2 columns where the left column is smaller than the right column, etc. Okay, so we're ready to start building our landing page. So let's just go back and see the first hero section, the first section that we're going to be building. As you can see over here, this is the first section, and we've got two columns basically. There's an image here, there's some text here, there's a button. So let's just dive in and make a start. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose a section with two columns, and in layout, what I'm going to do is I'm going to control the height of the section. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to give it a min height. Okay, min height means a minimum height, which means that no matter the amount of content in the section, it will always be at least a certain height. In this case, the default is 400 pixels. Okay, I can increase it like so. But what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to use a relative unit called VH, which stands for viewport height. Which is in relationship with the viewport's height. So if I set it to 100 VH, it means that it takes up 100% of the viewport's height. You can see here the top and the bottom blue lines of the section. And if I set it to 50 VH, it will take up exactly half of the viewport's height. And what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to set it to 100. And now I'm going to style the section. So I'll go to Style, and I'll give it a background color. Okay, so I'm going to give it the blue background color that we saw before. I'll set the background type. You can see you can choose a lot of types over here. We're going to be going for classic, and I'm going to choose the color, and I'll paste in my blue color code. And I'm also going to be saving this color because I want to use it later on. I'm going to save it to my color palette over here, so I'll just press the plus. And if I want to delete it or remove it, I can just drag and drop it around. Or if I want to reposition it over here, I can just do that very easily as well. So it's very organized. Okay, great. So now what we're going to be doing is we're going to go to the widget panel over here, and I'll drag in an image widget into the left column. See how the blue line indicates where it's going to be positioned? So I'll just drop that in. And this is going to be our dog painting image. So I'll just choose the image. I'll enter the media library, which currently is empty. So I'll go to Upload Files, and I'll go to Select Files, and over here in my Downloads folder, I'll go to my Images, and I'll just choose the dog painting over here, and I'll upload it, and I'll choose Insert. Okay, great. So that's the image that we have in the left column. And what we're going to be doing in the right column is I'll go ahead back to the widgets, and I'll drag in a heading widget. Okay, so I'll drag a heading widget into the right, and I'll just change the text. I'll change the text in content over here, the Moreno Art Gallery, and then I'll style it. So I'll go to Style, and I'll change the color to white, like so. And I'll go to Typography. And as you can see that the font family is set to default. And the default setting is the Montserrat that we set before in the default fonts section, which you can see over here. If we go back, we go to default fonts. You can see that this was set over here. Okay, so it's automatically set. I'll just press the widget so we're back in this, the settings. You can see that it's automatically set as the font family, which will save us a lot of time while we're going to be designing over here. I'll just change the size to 16 pixels, and I'll change the weight. I'll make it a little bit thinner, 300, and I'll set the transform to uppercase, and I'll play around with the letter spacing over here. I'll just make it spread out a little bit. 4 is okay. Okay, great. Now to save some time, I'm just going to simply right-click the widget, and I'll go ahead and duplicate it. And all I need to do now, and this is going to be the 40% off text, all I need to do is just change it. So I'll go ahead and change the text. And in style, I'll go ahead and increase the size. It's going to be the big 40% off. 125 pixels. I'll make it bold, so 800 for the weight. The line height, I'll play around with it a little bit. That's cool. And I'll make the letters come together, the spacing in between. So I'll drag this down a bit. I'll just drag it all the way down to -5. Okay, I'll go back to the settings. Okay, great. So next, let's drag in a text editor widget under it. There we go. And what I'll do is in style, I'll just change this text color to white. And in typography, what I'll do is I'll set the transform to capitalize, meaning that the first letter of every word will get a capital. Okay, so that's great. Now for the button, I'll go ahead and drag in the button. There we go. I'll just change the text. I'll change the text to see the works. And in the link, okay, over here, this is where I'm going to be adding a link that's set, that basically sets the button press to scroll down to the second section on the page, which I'll show you how to do that soon because we haven't built it yet, so we'll come back to that. Okay, so let's set its size to large. And I'm going to add an icon, okay? So I'll just go ahead and enter the icon library. And I'm going to choose the angled down icon here from our Font Awesome 5 library over here. I'll insert that. And I'll just set its position to after, so it appears after the text. Okay. And I'll just play around with the spacing. I'll just add some space in between the text and the icon itself. Okay, that's great. So now let's style the button. So I go to style. And what I'll do is I'll go to typography and I'll just increase its weight. I'll just set it to 700 so it's bold. And for transform, I'll set it to uppercase. It's always good to set that to uppercase for buttons. And next, what I'll do is I'll just change the background color over here. Okay. I'll change the background color to the pink red. So I'll go ahead and add the color code over here. And I want to save this color as well. Okay, we're going to be using it later on, so I'll just press plus. So it's added to the color picker. That's great. Okay. Now I'm just going to make sure that I don't know if you can see it, but the button itself isn't a full rectangle. It's got a little bit of a border radius, which you can see if I set it to 10. If I increase the border radius even more, you can see that it becomes a pill shape. So I'll just set this to 0, just to make sure that it's an exact rectangle. And I also want to style it a bit for hover, so I'll just go to the hover tab over here. And the only thing that I'm going to do here is I'm going to give it an animation. Okay, so I want it to sync. I'll search for sync. So now when we hover over it, it syncs down, which is great. Okay. So now that we're done adding all of the widgets and the content, let's just go back and make sure that it's all positioned properly. So what I'll do over here is I'll go back to the left. I'll go back to the left column settings. And in layout, I'll just make sure that vertical align is set to middle. Okay, that means that all the content inside the column is set to the middle. Okay, and I'll go to the right column over here. And I'll just go to advanced. And what I'm going to be doing here is I'm going to give some padding so that all of the content appears a little bit more centered, okay, in relationship to the image. So what I'll do is I'll just go ahead and add 100 pixels. Okay, so now there's 100 pixels on top, 100 pixels on the right, 100 pixels of padding on the bottom, and 100 pixels of padding on the left. So now they're positioned nicely and the layout is good, which is exactly what we were going for. Okay, before we move on to our second section, let's see if there are any questions. Let's have a look. Okay, so Alison Armstrong, why Elementor Canvas and not Elementor full width? What is the difference? Okay, so Elementor Canvas is basically creates a blank page without a header and a footer, and there's no other content over there. If you'd like to build a full website, I would go for full width because it includes the header and the footer. So basically, that's the difference. Creating a landing page, you want to start from scratch, have a canvas, play around and be creative. I'd go for that. If you're creating a full website with a header and a footer, if you need that, then I'd go for full width. So I hope that helped. Let's see. Yasir Sheikh, I think he's going way too fast. Okay, thanks. I'll slow down a little bit. So that's thanks for letting me know. Let's have a look. Peter. There's a question from Peter. Just an hour ago, I tried to do roughly this, but I couldn't add multiple text blocks along the side of an image. What can I have done wrong? In order to do that, what you should do is just use 2 columns. Okay, so that's the simple explanation. I hope that helps. Let's carry on with our second section. Okay, first, let's just check it out. This is our second section. Okay, so we press the button, we arrive to our second section. Again, the 2 columns, there's some text, there's a button, and there's an image carousel widget over here where we can see the sales price. And when we press on it, we can see the images as well. Okay, so that was a bug, but I'll show you exactly how to build it. Okay, so first of all, let's press the plus icon over here. And sorry, I'm not going to add the plus. I'm not going to press the plus icon. What I'm going to do to speed up the process is I'm going to right-click the entire section, and I'm just going to press duplicate. Okay. As you can see, it duplicates everything, the style, the layout, everything that we've got in it, all of the widgets. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drag the right column to the left, okay, because that's what we need to do. And what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be entering this section settings, and I'll just change the background color to the pink red that we saved before. So I'll go to Style and Color, and I'll go ahead and choose that pink color. So as you can see, it's very easy to quickly create sections by using the duplicate and drag around columns options. Now, let's just change the text. Okay, so the first heading widget is going to say Winter Collection. So I'll click on it over here, and I'll just change the text. So that's great. And the text in the second heading, it's going to say the special winter prices. So I'll go ahead and add that as well. It's a little bit too big. So I'll just go to Style, and in Typography, I'll just change that. I'll drag it down a bit, like so. 100 pixels is great. And let's just go to the button settings over here. As you can see, the button is the same background color as the section. That's why we can't see the background. So what we're going to be doing is I'll just go to Style and change the background color of the button to the blue that we set before. Okay, great. So this button is going to say Inquire Now. So I'll just go ahead and change the text. I'll go back to Content, and I'll just change the text over here. And in Link, what we're going to be doing is we'll add a tell scheme, which basically the moment that you click on it will automatically open up the phone app if you're on a mobile. So that looks like this. Okay, so that's the tell scheme, and it automatically works when you click on it. It will trigger the phone call. What we're going to be doing is changing the icon. Okay, so I'll go to Icon Library, and I'll change it to phone. So I'll just search for phone and insert it. Okay, cool. Now what we're going to be doing is I'm going to go ahead and right-click and delete the image widget. And I'm going to go ahead and enter the widgets and search for carousel. So I'm going to use the image carousel widget. So I'll go ahead and drag it in to the column on the right. And over here, I'll just go ahead and add some images to the media library. So I'll just go ahead and enter my folder over here, and I'll just select all of the images except for the dog image, because I already uploaded that. And I'll just go ahead and upload that. Okay, and I'll just go ahead and choose Create New Gallery. And as you can see over here, we can add captions. And soon you'll see exactly why I'm going to be adding the captions, because we're going to be styling it as well. I'm just going to add the caption over here. I'm just going to say sales price, okay? And you can change the price, of course. I'm just going to go ahead and paste these over here just to make it easier. And this is the sales price. It's very straightforward. I'll go ahead and insert the gallery, like so. Then I'll go ahead and change the image size. I'll make sure it's set to full. And I just wanted to show one slide. Okay, so I'll choose one. So now it only shows one picture. And for navigation, I'm just going to set it to arrows. I don't want the dots. And I'm just going to link all of the files to the media file, so that when you click on it, it will automatically open up the artwork, which is a great way to for potential visitors, for potential customers to actually check out and see the artwork from up close. So you can see the detail, and it's really cool. So let's just go back to the settings over here. Okay, so caption. As you can see, we can choose over here to link the caption. Now, the caption appears on the bottom of the image. So the caption that we set before, I'm just going to link the caption to caption. As you can see, automatically it shows the sales price. Now, if I would choose title, or if I choose description, then basically the title is the name of the file, the image file. It will show up over here. There we go, as you can see. And so I'm just going to set it to caption. Okay, that's pretty straightforward. Now, let's just go to style. I'll go to the style tab, and I'm going to style in navigation. I'm just going to go ahead and set the position of the arrows outside. Okay. And I'll just change the size a bit, and I'll just make sure that the color is set to white. Okay, that's cool. And in the caption drop down, I'll style that as well. I'll just align it to the left, and I'll set the text color to white as well. And in typography, I'll set the size to 20, and I'll make it a little bit less bold. I'll make it thin. I'll set it to 100. Okay, cool. That's great. So now that we've finished the second section, what we're going to be doing is we're going to make sure that the moment you press the button over here to see the works, it automatically scrolls down to the second section. Okay, so we wanted to scroll down to the second section. So let's just go to the second section's settings. And what we'll do is we'll go to advanced, and over here we'll type in CSS ID. So this can be any description word that you want. Just make sure that there aren't any spaces. I'm going to go ahead and add C works, which is the same as the button copy, the text that you see over here. Okay, so I added that over here, and I'll just go ahead and copy that. And then all I need to do is just go back to the button. I'll just enter the button settings, and in content, I'll go to link, and I'll just paste the CSS ID that I just added before, and just make sure that there's no space in between the pound key and the ID that you added, and make sure there's a pound key in front of it. Okay, so the moment that you do that, and you press on the button, then it will automatically scroll down. Hold on a second. Okay, I added a space in front of it. Okay, so no spaces. That's important. So the moment that I press it, it will automatically scroll down. Yeah, it worked. Okay, great. So now we finished the second section. Let's just carry on and build our third section. So we'll check it out. The third section over here is the contact us. We've got some text. We've got some social icons as well. And this is also a video running in the background, which I'll show you exactly how to do now. Very simply, add a section with one column, and I'll go ahead in height. I'll give it a min height of 100 VH. Okay, so the section itself takes up 100% of the viewport's height. And I'm going to control the content width. Okay, so in layout, in the section settings, in layout, the content width, okay, I can control that over here. Okay, so I'm just going to increase it. As you can see, on the left side over there, it's increasing. 700. You can see that the column, the content width of the column is increasing over here. And now it's decreasing. Okay, so I'll just set this to 700. That's where we're going to be adding our text and the social icon widgets. I'll go back to the section settings, and in style, what we want to do is we want to set a background video. Okay, so I showed you that you had some background types before. I'm going to go ahead and choose video, and here we can add a video link. Okay, so it can be a YouTube link or a Vimeo link of a video that's online, or it could also be a link to a video file that's in your media library. So I'll just go ahead and upload a video and get that link so you can see how it works. In order to enter the media library, I'm just going to go and use Elementor's Finder. So whether you're on a Mac or if you're on a PC, you can go ahead and press Command or Control E to open up the Finder. And I'm just going to type in dashboard, okay? And I'm just going to go and make sure I keep a Command pressed down to open up the dashboard in a new tab over here. As you can see, this is the tab. I'll go ahead and just drag it to the left just so that it's all organized. And in the dashboard, I'll press media to enter the media library. And here we are. These are the pictures that we added before, the images. And now I'll press add new, select files, and I'll just go back to my downloads and choose this video over here. And I'll go ahead and upload it. Okay, I'll just wait for the upload to finish. Okay, great. So the video is uploaded. So I'll press the video. This is the video over here. Now I've got a link to the video. So I'll go ahead and copy that link. And I'll go back over here. I'll just close the Finder. And I'll paste this link. Okay, the moment that I paste the link, the video starts playing, which is great. That's exactly what I want. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add an overlay on top of the video, okay, to make it look just a little bit better. So I'll go to background overlay, and I'll go to background type. I'll set it to classic, and I'll choose the blue color we set before. Okay, the default opacity is half, so it's 50%. I want to make it just a little bit darker, so I'll go ahead and choose 75, like so. And I'll also add a blend mode. Okay, I'll set the blend mode to multiply. There are a lot of options you can choose from. I'll go ahead and choose multiply, so it makes it just a little bit darker. Okay, great. Now, in order to save some time, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to copy the special winter prices widget. I'll go ahead and choose copy, and I'll just simply paste that over here. And I'll just change the text. Okay, so this is going to be the contact us. So I'll change that. And I'll copy this text editor and I'll paste it below. There we go. And what I'll do is I'll align this to the center. So in style, I'll set the alignment to center. That's great. So now we can add our social icons. I'll just go to the widgets and I'll search for social icons and I'll just drag it in over here on the bottom. Okay, that's cool. And what I'll do is I'll just go over here. As you can see here, we've got Facebook, we've got Twitter, we've got YouTube. I'll just press YouTube over here. We can change the icon. So I'll just go to icon and I'll look for Pinterest. So I'll just change it to Pinterest. Then over here, I'll just press it again so it closes and you can see it better. I'll change the shape to square. Okay, and of course you can add your links, right? You can add your links over here to your Facebook, your business, your Twitter, your Pinterest account. Now let's style them. Okay, I'm going to change the official color. I'm going to change it to custom, and I'm going to choose the primary color. I'm going to set it to the pink red that we set before, that we added before over here. And I'll just add some padding. I'll add 0.5, some spacing as well. That looks great. And also a good idea for the Contact Us section is to use a contact form, especially for conversion. So Elementor Pro has a contact form widget that lets you visually build your contact forms. So there's no need for third-party plugins, which allows you basically to work faster and design better. So that's Elementor Pro feature. Okay, so now that we finished creating our 3 sections here and our landing page, before we start tweaking it a little bit for mobile, let's see if there are any questions. Okay, so we've got a question from Peter. So those widget boxes appear on every page, or at least can be reused on pages of your choice by some kind of template. Okay, yeah, I'm going to delve into that. I'll elaborate on it a little bit at the end when we finish. Basically, what we're going to be doing is we're going to save them as a template so we can reuse it, and I'll show you exactly how that's done. So I'll show that soon. Okay, great. So now that we have created our page and we've added a lot of widgets and columns and all of our content basically, like I said before, I'm going to open up the navigator, and you can see this is everything that we just added. Okay, so we've got all of our content here. I'll just minimize the sections. As you can see, we've got the 3 sections. If I press on the section, the navigator automatically brings me to that part, and I'm directly in the section settings. I can also press the image over here, and I'm directly in the image settings. So it's really clear, it's very organized, and it's a very good way to get a clear overview of your page. So another cool thing is you can change these section names to make it even more convenient. So I'll change this to the hero section, and I'll change this one to the gallery section. And this comes in handy, especially when we're busy tweaking it for mobile, so we can really see what widget we're on and what we're busy tweaking. And I'll call this last one the contact section. Okay, so like I mentioned before, potential customers, they're going to be viewing this page on their mobile devices. So let's just see how we can make some mobile responsive adjustments to make your design look good on mobile as well. So what I'm going to be doing is I'll tweak the first section to show you exactly how it works. So I'll demonstrate that for the first section. What I'll do is I'll just enter the responsive mode. I'll just go to tablet first. Okay, and I just want to show you something that it's a cool thing that I use when I'm busy creating a layout specifically for tablet or for mobile. I use the column width percentage. So I'll just go ahead and enter this column over here on the left. Here we have the column width, and you can see that the responsive handle for tablet, you can see the tablet handle over here, meaning that all the changes that I'm going to make for this specific setting, they're only going to be applied for tablet. Okay, so if I go to mobile, it's only going to be applied for mobile. Desktop, it's only going to be applied for desktop. So there's no need to worry. Okay, so the moment that you see one of these handles here, you know that you're only busy tweaking it for that specific device size. So we're in tablet right now, and this is the column width, so I can control the column width. As you can see, we've got 2 columns, okay, and they take up exactly half and half, so that's 50-50. So if I want to change it to 40, okay, so I can change the width to 40, and then I'll just select the other column, and I'll go to layout, and I'm going to add 60, so together it's 100. And you can see that very easily I can control the layout for mobile devices. Okay, so that's just something that I like to use when I'm designing for tablet and mobile. I'll just go ahead and delete it, and what we'll do is we'll go to mobile. Okay, and like I mentioned before, let's just tweak the first section to see exactly how it works. So what I'll do is I'll just click hero to enter the hero section, to enter the settings over here, and in advanced, over here we've got a responsive drop down. Okay, so over here in the responsive drop down, I'm going to show you over here the reverse columns for mobile and tablet. Right now in mobile, so as you can see, the first column over here on top is the image, and the second column is the text. And the moment that I choose reverse columns for mobile, it switches that around. Okay, don't worry, we'll tweak it to make it look better, but it automatically switches it around, which might come in handy when you're designing and you want an image to appear above a button, etc. There's a lot of things you can use this for that might come in handy. And there's another setting for visibility, for example. You can choose to hide a whole section. You can choose to hide a widget. You can choose to hide specific things for mobile. So the moment that you select hide on mobile, it's grayed out, indicating that it's hidden. So you won't see it on mobile. So I'll go ahead and hide the panel over here. And the moment I do that, the section is gone. Okay, so this specific section now, we won't see it on mobile. It also might come in handy when you creating specific sections you want to only show up on mobile or only on desktop, and vice versa. So we're not going to be using this. So I'll just go ahead and close that. Okay, great. So now let's start tweaking a bit. I'm just going to go ahead and select the second column, okay, the one on the bottom over here. And in advanced, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to just change the padding. You can see that there's automatically it gets some type of padding. That padding is inherited from the desktop settings, okay? So the moment that we press padding, we press unlink, okay, then the padding is gone, and we can set individual padding for mobile, specifically for mobile. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll set this to, on top, I'll give it 40 pixels. You can see that over there, it gave 40 pixels. On the right, 30. Okay, and I'll just, on the left, I'll also add 30. Okay, and I'll just scroll down over here. This is the second section, right? So we need to have some space here a bit in between as well, under the button and the second section. So that's the bottom padding. Okay, so for the bottom padding, I'll just give it a little bit more. I'll add it 60 pixels. Okay, so that's already starting to look a little bit better. Now let's just click on the heading widget because the text is too big. Okay, so I'll go to the heading widget, and in typography, I'll just press typography over here. You can see that for size, line height, letter spacing, etc., there are also responsive handles indicating that I can change these values specifically for mobile and tablet. Okay, so I want the mobile size to be a little bit smaller, so I'll just go ahead and set it to 70 pixels so it fits in nicely. Okay, and because it's a landing page, this is the first image or the first picture, basically, that the first section that the visitor will see, and you can't see the button. And the button is the call to action, so it's very important, right? So I'm just gonna make some adjustments so we can see the button the moment you land on the page on mobile. So what I'll do is I'll just go to the image widget, and I'll just make it a little bit smaller. So I'll go to style. And for width, you can see here as well, there's a responsive handle for width. I'll go ahead and just resize it. Okay, I'll just go ahead and set that to 80%. Nice, we can see the button, so that's great. The image is already in the center. Let's just center some other stuff here as well. I'll just go to the heading, content, alignment, center. Okay, this heading as well, center. I'll go ahead and set this one to center as well. And the button, I'll align that to the center as well. Also, what I'll do is I'll go to style for the button. And what I'll do is I'll just change the typography a little bit. As you can see here also, it's got the mobile responsive handle. And I'll just change this to 16 pixels, so it's just a little bit smaller. And as you can see, it's very easy to just play around and really style it specifically for your mobile device and tablet device. So we're done here. I think this looks great for mobile. That's really cool. And okay, so we're nearing the end of the webinar. So I'm just going to have a look if there are any questions. Let's see if I can answer some questions. Okay, let's have a look. All right. Let's see. Okay, so Patrick Kaiser, he asks, would you use relative units for an actual site you deliver for clients? He says, I understand that for this demo, it's not that important. Okay, so relative units for, like, let's say what we use for the viewport's height. That's just a smart way and a responsive way to control the content that you can put in it and the height that you have. Let's say an example that I'd use, and then I'll carry on with the webinar just to touch on it for a little bit. Let's say you're creating a landing page, and you're delivering it to a marketing company or whatever not, and they're going to be changing the content inside it, reuse it, and create other stuff. And maybe there's going to be less text in it. And so if you give it a minimum, height, then even if there's less text in it, it will still look the way that you'd like it to look. So I hope that answers your question. Let's see if we've got another question. Drops of rain. When making changes for mobile responsiveness, does it also change the desktop view? No. Okay, so when you've got the mobile responsive handles over here, for example, for the button over here, then all of the values that you assign to this specific setting, the size setting, they're only going to be applied on mobile. Okay, so I hope that's clear. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and close the navigator, and we'll go back to the desktop mode. Okay, so we finished creating our page. What we can do now is we can go ahead and publish it. So I go ahead and press publish, and it's live. So we can go ahead and have a look. Okay, so it's live. Everybody with this link, they'll be able to see it. And it works exactly the way that we want it to work. So that's really, really great. Now, let's just go back over here, and let's have a look at some other save options over here. Okay, so we created this landing page, and we might want to use it to, or reuse it to create other landing pages to save some time. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be saving the page as a template, so we can insert it and use it along the go. So just go to save options and choose save as template. And I'll just go ahead and call it gallery landing page. And you can go ahead and save it. And as you can see, it shows up over here. And very easily, I can just insert it or preview it. So I'll go ahead and it appears under my templates in the library. Okay, I'll go ahead and close it. And if we create a new page, you can just insert this template, and you can really reuse pages very easily. What you can also do is you can go to the section. Okay, you can right click a section. Let's say I want to have this contact us section. I want to reuse it as well on other landing pages. You can just right click the section and just choose save as template and give it a name. So I can call it contact us template. Okay, for example, and press save. And here we have it, the contact us template. If I'd like to insert it in the page, just press insert, and it will automatically just add it over here. Okay, so I'm not going to be using this, so I'll just go ahead and close that. Okay, so wait, hold on, what happened? The page layout just changed to default. That's why we see the header over here. So let's just set it back to Elementor Canvas. There we go. And that solves our problem. Okay, so that just happened. But it's a good example. Page layout, Elementor Canvas to create landing pages without a header and footer. Okay, great. So another cool tool that I use that I showed you before is the Finder, which you can use with Command or Control E, like so. We used it to open up the dashboard. Basically what it is, it's a search bar that offers easy navigation between different pages and dashboard settings. You can, for example, very easily create a new page. Just add new, and you can add a new page on the fly and insert the template that we just created, the page or the section, very easily. Okay, so this is just the tip of the iceberg. There really is so much more that you can learn. And I hope that I managed to explain Elementor, the basics, to you so you can create your own landing pages. It's a very powerful web design tool, really meant to help you grow your business and your career as well. Also, Elementor Pro provides you with even more tools, such as the form widget that I mentioned before, tools to help create highly converting landing pages, motion effects also to really bring your design to life. The Pro version also has pop-ups to keep your visitors engaged, a theme builder to create full-fledged websites, and a lot more. So, this is the end of the webinar, and I really think that you're ready to create your first landing page and proudly publish them and show them to your friends and family and your clients. So I'd like to invite you to join our Facebook group. So you're exposed also to a lot of tips and tricks, and a lot of the community really helps each other out. So really invite you to join the Facebook group, become part of the huge Elementor community, full of like-minded web creators. Everybody really helps each other out. There's questions, there's answers, there's debates, there's the best way to work. There's a lot of stuff going around. Also, I'd like to invite you, if you haven't done it already, to subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's full of interesting tutorials, really to help you master Elementor. Also, our website, you can check out the Help Center for easy access to our knowledge base, our FAQs, docs, and a lot more. And lastly, we'll send you a link to the materials that are needed to create this specific landing page, the images and the video. So feel free to re-watch the webinar and recreate the page. You can recreate it step by step. And we will also send you a link to a survey to give some feedback on this webinar, so we can help improve and keep making relevant and to the point webinars. So I wish you good luck, and most of all, enjoy being creative. Okay, so thanks for tuning in. Ciao for now.